What's up, my beautiful bros? Maine-iac here with the Divisional Round NFL playoff predictions. Like we did last week in the wild card round, where we went 2-2. We're gonna try to do better, at least 3-1 or 4-0. It's gonna be my hopes, and hopefully I get one team right, just because they're my team. But first, we'll start out with the New Orleans Saints traveling to the Minnesota Vikings. I won't go into this too long. Kamara and Ingram struggled in the last game against the Panthers, and the Vikings have a better defensive front and better DBs that match up better with Thomas and Ted Ginn. Tennigan's 80-yard reception touchdown was incredible to watch. It was just beautiful football, a beautiful execution, beautiful throw. And they say no matter how good of a defender you are, it's probably the hardest thing to defend a perfect throw. And that's what Drew Brees is capable of, and that's going to be concerning for the Vikings. But with the Vikings' run game and Latavius Murray and Jerick McKinnon, who can receive out of the backfield, I think the Saints' defense will be tested. The best answer to McKinnon is going to be Manti Te'o, probably in covering him. I like the Vikings defense matchup in this one. I like the Vikings offense matchup in this one. I think Marshawn Lattimore is a great young defender. I think against Thielen, Diggs, and Rudolph, they're going to struggle. I don't think they have the talent necessarily to stop the Vikings. I think this game is going to be probably a 28-21 matchup in the Vikings' favor. I think the Vikings are going to win this one. And then you have the Jacksonville Jaguars against the Pittsburgh Steelers. I'm actually picking the Pittsburgh Steelers in this one. It's a rematch of Week 5, where Big Ben threw 5 interceptions, 2 for pick sixes, and I think 3 or 4 of them were tipped passes. I'm not sure exactly on the number. What concerns me the most about Jacksonville is they have an amazing defense. They do. But Pittsburgh has an amazing offense. They have Antonio Brown, Juju Smith-Schuster, Martavius Bryant, Jesse James, Le'Veon Bell, all coming into their own, really. No James Conner, I believe, due to the injury he received in the Patriots game. But backup Stephen Ridley could also help a little bit. And the fact that on any given play you have to defend 5 receiving targets, no matter who's probably in the backfield, is always a threat. Big Ben always takes risk, and that's something you have to be wary of. Jalen Ramsey and Bouye are a great dynamic DB combo, but I think the problem here is going to be Blake Bortles, who was the second player in NFL history to have more rushing yards than passing yards in a playoff victory, and that's sad. He didn't even have 100 passing yards in that game against a Bills defense whose secondary really isn't that good. I think that's going to be the reason why the Jaguars lose here, whether it's Hayden picking off Blake Bortles or fumbles or anything. I don't think their offense is good enough to win this one. Their defense is good enough to win this one. If they can score a couple of defensive touchdowns, they could very well win this. I just feel like their offense is going to let them down. Pittsburgh Steelers win this 17-14. And then you have the winner of the Rams-Falcons game, the Atlanta Falcons. Well, I picked against them. They're going against the Philadelphia Eagles. I'm going to pick the Falcons here. Originally, I was going to pick the Eagles because of their defense, but I just can't trust Nick Foles enough. I know that's probably going to be a mistake because the Eagles do have that chip on their shoulder now that they're number 1 seed and that they're still the underdog. It's a weird story there. If Carson Wentz was playing in this game, I'd pick the Eagles hands down. I don't see the Eagles' clear answer to a Julio Jones kind of threat. They have Darby, but he's going to need help, and if you help too much on him, Hooper's a good receiving tight end. You got Sanu, and them. Not to mention you have the dual-headed back combo of Freeman and Coleman. I think the biggest struggle here is going to be the young, athletic defense of the Falcons making a joke out of Nick Foles, even with the run game, who I like to lobby for the Eagles because of Ajayi and Blunt and Clements is a really scary trio to go up against. But I think Nick Foles is going to make that crucial mistake in the third or fourth quarter that's going to either put the Eagles down too much or it's going to cost them on the final drive or something like that. I just don't think he's a good enough quarterback right now. I don't think he can handle pressure too much right now. Not to say he can't do that next year or in a couple years. I just don't think he was ready for this, and it's going to show. And then the last AFC wildcard game, we got the Tennessee Titans, who shocked the Kansas City Chiefs, whooped their asses, and then brought them back home just to go to New England. Now, the Titans against New England is a very interesting matchup. The New England Patriots are the second worst defense when it comes to rush or yards per rush. Their offense, their pass defense isn't that good either. It's an interesting underlying story here is Logan Ryan, the ex-New England cornerback, is playing for the Titans. It's going to be like a return home kind of thing. It's going to be cool. He's got some brotherhood in the New England Patriots, so he's going to be giving it his all. The matchup to watch is probably going to be Derrick Henry versus the Patriots run defense, but with James Harrison, I feel like that's going to improve a little bit. Mariota is prone to mistakes, and his biggest targets in Corey Davis, I believe his name is, I apologize for me, Rashard Matthews, Delaney Walker. I think they have good matchups. I think Stephon Gilmore and Malcolm Butler can slow them down where they're not the elite receiving threat, but they're still good, so I'm not going to underestimate them. The Titans defense is incredible. Orakpo, still a solid linebacker. That offensive line of the Titans, incredible. James Harrison is going to have to show up big and get some sacks if the Patriots are going to win. Or even some pressure would help. I think the Patriots win this one. I think this one's going to be a 31-21 game. I think Mariota's going to make some mistakes. He's going to rely too much on his legs. And although that has been effective against the Patriots before, if you look at the Carolina Panthers game at the beginning of the year and Alex Smith game at the beginning of the year. But Belichick having a week and a half, 2 weeks to prepare for this game against a young quarterback who's still growing in Mariota. And that offense, Hogan should be back healthy. James White should be back healthy. Rex Burkhead should be back healthy. It's going to be a different looking offense than the last few weeks of the season. Gronk's healthy. It's going to be... I don't think the Titans really have a good answer for Gronk. Should be a good game. Anyway, guys, thank you for watching. Don't forget to leave a like, comment, subscribe if you are new. We're headed off to the conference championships, but let's see who makes it there.